is the last but not the least, probably is one of the most unknown Marijas Sklodovkas-Kirī actions. But I say it has quite a few of interesting, quite a lot of interesting features that differentiate from, for example, doctoral networks or postdoctoral fellowships that make it very attractive, both in the sense of international cooperation and intersectoral and interdisciplinary. So I will not delay the start of my presentation, but I thought that it would be good to give a succinct overview of it, just to frame the program in its policy background. I will have a couple of slides of the policy background or the policy framework of Marijas Sklodovkas-Kirī staff exchanges action. Then I will. This will be followed by the main features of staff exchanges and some guidance regarding the application process, as well as finalizing with a small snapshot on figures of participation of Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, and Slovakia, the organizers of today's meeting. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Horizon Europe. Most of you probably know is the European key funding program for research and innovation. It addresses climate change, helps to achieve the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and boost EU's competitiveness and growth. As you can see in the slides, it is divided in 3 different pillars. Pillar 1 is excellent science, where Marijas Sklodovkas-Kirī actions are part of. But this excellence pillar aims to increase the EU global scientific competitiveness, supporting research projects driven by top researchers through the European Research Council. It also funds, as I said, fellowships for experienced researchers, doctoral training networks, and exchanges through MSCA. When I say MSCA, it's in short for Marijas Sklodovkas-Kirī actions, and also invest in world-class research infrastructures. Pillar 2, I will just mention that its focus is most relevant for industry, but not exclusively, and it supports European collaborative research and innovation projects where both industry and academia can be involved. It's divided into 6 thematic clusters. And then we have Pillar 3, that is Innovative Europe, that comes together with a European Innovation Council. It explores European innovation ecosystems, and it includes also the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. Going deeper in this Pillar 1, we have Marijas Sklodovkas-Kirī actions. There are 5 main MSCA actions. So there is a continuity in a way. I know we are already well advanced in Horizon Europe program, which will end in 2027. But these 5 actions are a continuation from the previous Horizon 2020 framework program. So we have doctoral networks, which is focused on early researchers, targeting doctoral programs supporting research in academia and other sectors. Then we have postdoctoral fellowships that is focused on experienced researchers, supporting their careers in research and promoting excellence. Then we have co-fund, which supports regional, national, and international doctoral and postdoctoral programs through co-funding. MSCA and citizens, which was the former European Researchers' Night, aiming at bringing closer science to the public. Then last but not least, we have staff exchanges action that we will talk today about. The budget allocated for the incoming call is 82.8 million. It's subject to changes and it might increase in the last moment. And interestingly, I think something that differentiates us, for example, from the very competitive doctoral networks, is that the success rate for this action is quite high. It's between 25 to 40%, for example, in the last 2023 call, depending, of course, on the scientific panels. For example, in postdoctoral fellowships and doctoral networks, the success rate is around 13%. So let's go deeper into what is staff exchanges. Staff exchanges is basically a research and innovation mobility action. It funds mobilities from a staff of one organization to another in the frame of a research program. So projects are presented by a consortium of organizations that aim to equip researchers and the organization in itself worldwide with advanced skills and cutting knowledge. It fosters mobility between academic and private sector. So private sector, of course, is eligible for this action. And it can be combined with other programs or projects, so creating synergies. The budget allocated to this year call is, as I say, 82.76 million euros. It's subject. The work program might be updated and might be increased to up to 97.7 million euros. What are the objectives of our staff exchanges action? We are a bottom-up approach program that covers all the fields of science with the objective of promoting international, intersectoral, and interdisciplinary mobility of research and innovation staff through the so-called secondments of mobilities or exchanges in joint research and innovation projects. So the mobilities have to be in the frame, as I say, of research and innovation projects. The aim of our action is to strengthen knowledge transfer between participating organizations, as well as establishing new or sustaining collaborations between academic and non-academic sector, including SMEs. And the cooperation happen across the globe, as third country organizations are very much welcome to participate in our scheme. What is the added value for staff members to participate in our scheme? Is the acquisition of transferable skills and competences, which leads inevitably to increasing their employability as well as career prospects. For example, it leads very often to promotion or to a change of career in organizations. It also provides or helps staff to get their ideas converted into products, processes, and services. It helps researchers to gain international exposure in an international program, and also it helps them to contribute to their networking and communication, for example, through the publication of articles and peer review articles. What is in it for organizations? Well, likewise, it helps them to transfer their knowledge, interestingly, sometimes between academia and non-academic sector. which widens their perspective. It also helps to establish or to solidify collaborative networks with other organizations. As we say now, research is done globally, and it's important to keep these networks alive, and also to build up new networks. And of course, it helps them to increase their research and innovation capacity. Who can participate in our projects? Well, it's through a consortium. Consortium is a group of organizations that come together with research and innovation projects that they want to explore. The consortium has a minimum required of being formed by at least 3 legal entities in 3 different countries, 2 of which needs to be in a different EU member states or a Horizon Europe associated country. It is important to note in this case that we consider 2 types of organization in terms of for the composition of the consortium, which is the academic sector. This sector is composed by universities and research organizations. And then we have the other category, non-academic sector, which is basically all the rest of type of organizations, which comes from industry, companies, NGOs, associations, also have museums, hospitals, etc. So basically, all that is not higher education institutions or research organizations. Why is important this differentiation is because of this minimum of 3 entities, a minimum requirement that we have of 3 different entities. So when all the entities, as we see in the example at the bottom, are from the same sector, let's see that all the 3 different organizations in the consortium are academic, then one needs to be located outside Europe. Or being a non-Horizon Europe associated country. And when we have in 2 different sectors, let's say, which is the sample at the top, let's say that we have 2 organizations in the academic sector, and we will need one in Europe or associated country. Then we will need one in either in a 3rd country or from a non-academic sector, which is the case that we see above. Again, well, the minimum requirement is three different entities, but of course there might be more organizations coming together within a consortium. I would say that the average of our consortiums are between 6 and 10 partners from intersectoral and international backgrounds. Again, and this is, let's say, a tip, big, large consortia, okay, that they might be located globally, but bear in mind that they might be more difficult to coordinate at the end of the day. So the size of the consortium is not a criteria for evaluation. So it has to be according to the needs of the project. It has to be justified, let's say, within the background of the research and activities that are proposed in the project. So there's this minimum of 3, but there is no maximum. Who are eligible for the exchanges, for the mobility? Well, this is a very open and flexible scheme that we have, because any type of staff contributing to research and innovation activities can be seconded or can participate in the mobilities. This can be researchers, administrative staff, managerial and technical staff, but I highlight that they need to be contributing to research and innovation activities. There must be a staff or considered staff by the national law and internal practices with the organization. So the organization should have the legal means in terms of control, supervision and instructions over the secondees when they are doing the secondment. The researcher can be at any stage of their career, so this can include doctoral candidates or postdoctoral researchers. And as I say, the staff should be actively engaged in research and innovation activities for at least 1 month prior to the mobility. So we cannot engage somebody and immediately send it to mobility, because there won't be a transfer of knowledge of one organization to another. We consider that at least a new staff member should need a previous 1 month working in an organization in the research and innovation activities before being sent to another organization to transfer their knowledge. The minimum mobility that per staff that is required is from 1 month to 12 months at the end of the project. So the project normally lasts 4 years, so one person should complete at least 1 month and a maximum of 12 months within the project, which can be split in different stages or in different mobilities. For example, doing 2 mobilities of 15 days. Staff needs to be devoted full-time while being on secondment. And after the period of secondment, the staff member or the researcher should return to their sending institution. This is to allow, of course, and maximize the impact of the exchange and ensure the transfer of knowledge and long-term collaboration. So, for example, we see here eligible secondments in Europe and associated country. So there can be, normally they are from one sector, non-academic, to academic or vice versa. These are eligible, but one novelty that we have with the Horizon Europe framework program compared to the previous RISE scheme is that secondments within the same sector, let's say from a university to another European university to another European university, they are allowed up to 1/3 of the total number of person months in the person months of secondments in the project, if the secondments are interdisciplinary. And we will go a bit more into detail about the interdisciplinarity of the project. This is an example, the same sector secondments within Europe. As I said, they are allowed if they are considered interdisciplinary. Those secondments should integrate aspects from 2 or more different scientific disciplines. So it's important to bear in mind that scientific panels and descriptors that normally are included in part 8 of the proposal reflect this characteristic in the project. So the project can be considered interdisciplinary at the evaluation. So secondments between different same sector within member states and associated countries are allowed. What happened with eligibility with international secondments? So international secondments within the same sector are allowed if from Europe to the third country, and in some cases from the third country to Europe, they would be funded if the organization in the third country is located in a low and medium income third country. If it is a high income third country organization, these secondments, for example, from the States to a European or associated country organization won't be funded, but they can be included, of course, in the project, but it won't be funded by the project. To know the list of countries participating in Europe, you can see the guidance. There is a list of countries, of associated countries and third countries that are eligible for funding. So Staff Exchanges is a program that is funding mobilities, as I see. So it's based in the concept of unit cost. So we will fund per month of mobility accomplished. We will provide 5,010 euros per person month, as I say, per month completed. 2,710 euros will be devoted exclusively to cover staff member unit costs, which are related to the travel, the accommodation, and the allowances while on secondment. So this amount should be in full given to the staff member. The other amount that we can see at the bottom, 1,300 euros, will be used or can be used to cover research, training, and networking costs, and 1,000 euros is thought to be used for management and indirect costs. Then let me tell you that there is also a special needs allowance, the possibility of requesting a special need allowance when the need arises, that covers additional costs of staff members with disabilities whose long-term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairments are certified by a competent national authority and such nature that their participation in the action might not be possible without the acquisition of special needs items or services. They shall not be funded from another source, of course, let's say Social Security or health insurance, but this special needs allowance is available in case of need. Then let me summarize the key features of Staff Exchanges program. So as I say, it's a bottom-up action, which means that it's the staff and the researchers that are part of the action who build up or have the concept of the project and carry on the secondments. And the projects are presented in different scientific panels. It's based on unit cost. The funding is based on unit cost, providing 5,010 euros per month of secondment in planned in the project, which is divided in two. First part, 2,710 euros goes to the staff for staff allowances, and 2,300 euros goes to the organization. This is, let me also tell you, or remark that of course the staff will continue to have their salary or should receive their salary while on secondment. Secondments should be done by staff at least 1 month, maximum 12 months per staff during the duration of the project. And they can be split in several states. And there should be either, they can be interdisciplinary, intersectoral, or international. The duration of the project is a maximum of 4 years, and the maximum number of months to be accomplished in a project is fixed at 360 months, which is equivalent of 1.8 million euros. This is the maximum funding provided by the scheme within the framework of a project. And now, that I'm wrapping up this part of the main key features, let me also, I would like you to retain also a few messages regarding of our action, which is one of the most international of MSCA actions. More than 50% of third country partners participating in the whole MSCA program are present in consortia of staff exchanges. Of course, also very interesting that we have a high number of, or quite interesting number of business partners, including SME, which have received 30% of the available funding, which is considerable participation. Also, staff exchanges and RISE, the predecessor of staff exchanges, it was called RISE, also yielded tangible innovations, and more specifically a significant share of the patents produced by the MSCA program. And then just to retain also that the success rate is quite high in our action, that of course depending on the discipline and on the year. In simple words, out of 10 proposals submitted in our calls, following the evaluation process, 3 will be eventually be funded by our scheme. Let's move now to the proposal submission and evaluation. Key days to retain is the call opened already a couple of weeks ago, and it will close on 8th of October. I know we can say that is far away, but don't delay it. Start already preparing your thoughts and your projects, because then we have the summer in between, and it's better to have a well-progressed candidature before the end or before the deadline, or before the deadline approaches. In any case, the call budget is 82.76 million euros. Again, the work program might be updated with a few, let's say around 97.7 million, but we are still waiting for it to be updated and to be confirmed. Here there is an indicative timeline of the call. So as I said, it is already open. Deadline will be 8th of October. Then we will evaluate all the proposals received, and in early next year we will have the results notified to the applicants. Around mid next year, grant agreements are planned to be signed, and then projects should be starting before, let's say, before 1 year at the end of the call, let's say October or November 2026. Again, this is to be confirmed, and depending on the project again. The budgets we already mentioned. The unit cost also mentioned is 5,010 euros, which has been increased in the compared to not to previous year, but to 2023. Another novelty is that Switzerland is back as beneficiary, And the letter of commitment of third country organizations participating in the program is no more needed at the stage of preparation or submission of the proposal, which provides, of course, more flexibility. Important when you prepare your proposal is to read carefully MSCA work programs and their annexes. Use the proposal templates. I know it might be obvious, but sometimes we might use, for example, when there are changes from one year to another, the proposal templates, and we might submit some same proposal or resubmit a proposal with the template from previous year, and this won't be accepted in majority of cases. And then check frequently asked questions as well. Very useful to go through the guide for applicants, because there you will find not only important information, but a lot of hints to prepare well your proposal. For preparing your proposal, you may have to go to the funding and then the opportunities portal, and then search the call of your interest by typing MSCA staff exchanges, and you will find the 2025 call. Then you will need to start drafting your proposal. There is a part A, which is a structure form. It's administrative form. You need to go introduce all the consortium composition, all the different organization information that are part of your consortium and the EU funding request. And then there is a part B, which is the narrative, that you should prepare following the lines of three main criteria, which are excellence, impact, and implementation. Please note that there has been significant changes as compared to the previous RISE action, namely informs Part A, EU funding request, ethic part, and new security scrutiny part. What are the evaluation criteria? As mentioned, is the excellence, impact, and quality and efficiency of the implementation. Apologies for the small print. They are also included in the guide for applicants. These are extremely important that you read carefully and reflect all the highlighted parts in your proposal, because evaluator will take this criteria to rank and to score your proposal. Have bear in mind that the different criteria have a different weighting in terms of scoring. Excellent is 50%, impact 30%, and quality and efficiency of the implementation is 20%. However, please don't neglect one part of or another, because they are in a way interlinked. So excellence, you should describe the added value of the proposal, why the consortium is more than the sum of its parts, and the synergy between partners. You should emphasize the originality and innovative aspects of the research that is going to be carried out in the framework of the project. Important knowledge sharing and transfer is crucial, and highlight the three I's, the international, intersectoral, and interdisciplinary aspects of the proposal. Regarding impact, highlight or remark on the impact at different levels for the researchers, for the beneficiaries, at European levels, and others. Include how you will disseminate the results of the project to different target groups, and how your impact will be measured and can be measured. also explain how the project will provide opportunities for individuals to acquire new skills, knowledge, and experience. And don't forget, sometimes it's neglected, if applicable, of course, intellectual properties issues are important. So a credible strategy of managing IP can help you to get, for example, extra points. In terms of implementation, the quality and efficiency of the implementation is how well credible, how well structured the project and the activities are. So how you plan to monitor risk or the progress of the project has to be well described in the proposal. What, how, and by who. For example, the parameters be very clear on the parameters of the work, the objectives you aim to achieve, and the project's overall management. Outline strong points of each of the partner. So record relevant include records of relevant research in the field, special facilities, significant collaboration, etc. And again, structure well a coherent plan regarding project deliverables and milestones, as well as secondments. Now you might be at the stage of of wondering how to find partners. Well, there are various possibilities, either through networking events like conference, seminars, workshops. For example, today there is an excellent opportunity to know other organizations, for example. Use former or current collaborations that you have used, for example, in some joint projects. Also, you can go to funder and tender opportunities portals, which is there is a tool for searching other organizations. There is also the MSCA matchmaking platform. And also, if you consider any non-academic partner in your consortium, you can approach the European Enterprise Network. And of course, last but not least, you can contact your national contact point. This is the tool that I was mentioning before on the funding and tender opportunities portal. It's under funding partner search. You can type the country or the type of organization that you would like to approach, and then you will have a list of organizations that you can approach. Some tips and tricks when you are preparing your proposal. Well, some of them might be obvious, but I think it's always good to remind. You just closely follow the call requirements. So be in line with the actions, objectives, and expected outcomes. Follow the available guidelines. There is always maybe good to read between the lines to get some hints of what you need to highlight. Highlight the EU dimension. Important to get a second opinion, so have your proposal proofread by a colleague or screened by your NCP. Describe the benefits of the cooperation and how they will go beyond this project, and approach your contact point for any support you might need throughout the entire application process. It was mentioned before, there might be synergies with already ongoing projects or starting projects, but be careful when you are planning the conception of projects, that there is no double funding between MSCA staff exchanges and the other projects. If you have questions about research and Horizon Europe, you can also use the research inquiry service at europa.eu. Now, I will be very succinct on this, but I would like also to show you some figures on participation of a staff exchange of Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, and Slovakia. I don't know, the slide is very small, showing the different participation. Of course, Italy, Spain, France, Greece, they are at the top. Of course, they are big countries, the same as Germany. So they are the top in participation, but Poland, as you can see, is seventh in the ranking with a total funding of 13.7 million euros. Latvia is 25th with 2.3, Lithuania 26, 2.3, and Slovakia 27th. Bear in mind that the graph continues on the right. There are other countries participating in staff exchanges with lower funding. For example, Norway and Luxembourg are lower than Slovakia, for example. The total funding from 2021 to 2023 calls was 228 million euros. Apologies because 2024 call is we just evaluated and we cannot disclose yet the figures of funding. In terms of number of participation, the previous graph was on the budget. This graph is on the number of participations. Again, Poland is 9th with 98 participations, which means that different Polish organizations 98 participate 98 times. Let's say that the same different Polish organizations can participate in one same project. So that's why we call I was showing you the graph on participation. So Slovakia, we can see is 19 participation, Latvia and Lithuania 16 and 17 respectively, out of a total of 2,812 participation. So let me show you a quick snapshot for Poland. As you can see, the progression of participation in terms of funding. So it has decreased slightly on 2022, and then it has increased in 2023. How the repartition of EU contribution per type of Polish organization is majority has been provided to higher education organization, 74%. Then we have research organizations, 8%, and private let's say private for-profit entities, which can be industry or SMEs, is 13%, which is interesting. And then we have others that can be foundation, as Fundacja Photon, sorry, apologies for my pronunciation, and then public organization like Instytut Kultury Miejskiej. Then we have, in terms of number of projects participated by Polish entities, we have on the left number of projects, successful projects, and say it's the evolution 25, 14, 19. And then on the right, we can see also the number of participation, including, in blue, the number of projects where Poland is coordinated. So in total, Poland is coordinating 15 out of the 236 projects that we have in the portfolios of the calls 2021-2023. Then we move to Latvia. As we said, the progress of the participation in terms of funding have been decreasing. Again, it might be already because there are some projects already ongoing, so of important institutions. Again, the distribution is majority of the funding goes to higher education institutions, but also we have private for-profit entities, 10%, and research organizations 6%, others 5%. In terms of projects, number of projects where Latvian institutions participate. In terms of unique participation, there have been 4 projects in the 2023 and 2022 call, and 6 projects in the first call of staff exchanges in Origin Europe. In terms of projects coordinated by Latvian organizations, we have 2, 3, and 1. So in total, six organizations coordinating the projects. Lithuania. Lithuania also have a mixed progress in the scheme, with an important participation of private for-profit entities, so 23%. Also, of course, higher education institutions participate with 66% of the funding, then public institutions and research organizations 7% and 4% respectively. The number of projects where Lithuanian organizations participate has been equal throughout the calls. And then in terms of coordination, 3 projects have been coordinated so far in our scheme. Now we move, last but not least, Slovakia projects. So in terms of participation, it has been decreasing. In terms of funding, as I said, maybe it's a question of there are already ongoing projects. So to be cautious of not participating in many projects at the same time. Distribution between type of organizations, higher education, 76%. Private for-profit organizations receive 12% of the funding, and research organizations 12% of the funding. And in terms of projects, we have respectively 4, 3, and 6 projects participated by Slovakian organizations. And then we have in blue as well the number of projects where Slovakia is coordinating the projects in the consortium. So it's 2 out of 236 projects of staff exchanges. And now with, I think I went a bit over time. Let me wrap up by mentioning one quote of Marijas Sklodovkas-Kirī. Nothing in life is to be feared, it's only to be understood. So important note for the preparation of the applications is just understand well the information provided, and then you will have, let's say, 90% of the work done. I hope I managed to motivate you to apply to our program. Thank you for your attention, and I'm available for questions if you have any. Thank you very much.